WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
Right now at noon, landing in NC, a jet maker has chosen North Carolina for a multi-billion-dollar factory. Next, the record-breaking jobs it's bringing to the state.
Plus, expanding health care in Wake County, the new hospital facility coming to Cary.
And clouds are starting to build across our area. I'll let you know who and when we can see some of these clouds producing thunderstorms.
A history-making announcement. Jet Zero has picked North Carolina for a nearly $5 billion factory. Good afternoon to you. I'm Jeff Hogan.
And I'm Michelle McConaughey. Thanks for joining us. The facility will be built in Greensboro. It'll bring more than 14,000 jobs to the state. WRAL's Sean Gallagher is live in Greensboro. Sean, this is believed to be the biggest jobs commitment in state history.
Yeah, that's why the governor is going to make that announcement here behind me in just about an hour. But this is coming with not just a ton of jobs, but also high-paying wages expected to be around $89,000 for a massive project worth nearly $5 billion. Jet Zero is looking to build a new style of aircraft that would be more fuel efficient, garnering the attention and investment of major airlines like United, Delta, and Alaska Air, and the federal government on top of that. Now, the plans could add nearly $260 billion to the state's economy if it meets expectations. The state already has approved incentives worth over $1.5 billion to attract Jet Zero here, with other local incentives as well. The Guilford County Board of Commissioners just voted a few hours ago for a $76 million incentive package, and Greensboro officials are offering $1,000 per job created.
We have been ranked as one of the best places to do business in the United States. And some would even say we are home to transportation innovation of the world.
And this is a massive opportunity, but the business itself hasn't had a single flight yet. It's still developing aircraft, but United Airlines has already announced an investment that could lead to an order of 100 of these new fuel-efficient planes, with plans for 100 more. Jet Zero expects its first aircraft will take flight in 2027, with commercial services starting in 2030. Now, that average salary of $89,000 would be already above the county's average by a large margin. But there are some safety nets in place for the investments by the state. So if they don't meet these annual goals for jobs created or money invested, the state will be off the hook for the money that they've promised so far. Now, Governor Stein will be here in just about an hour to make this announcement. We'll, of course, bring you that later during our newscast. At PTI, Sean Gallagher, WRAL News.
And happening now in the WRAL Live Center was a real traffic mess on I-85 this morning. This is what happened. A crash shut down I-85 in both directions. This was near Highway 15 there in Granville County. We've got Sky 5 over that scene right now. You can see the entire roadway is cleared as a result of that morning crash. Take a look at what the scene looked like a couple of hours ago, because we were told initially that it was going to be at noon before it reopened. But suffices to say, a log truck spilled its load all over this highway, so both sections was closed. You can still see remnants of some logs there in the median, but they made quick work of this situation and were able to reopen I-85 in both directions there in Granville County at this hour.
All right, good news that is all clear for now. All right, thank you, Ken. We are going to get outside to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. We have a hot, sticky afternoon on the way with a small chance for some storms.
Yeah, we have this live look right here of Cary Park right in town there. And we go out to the weather patio right now. A look at who is most likely to see some of those storms this evening, Elizabeth.
It's mostly going to be in our southern counties. We could have one or two pop up around the triangle. Our chance for rain is only 30%. So a lot of folks are not going to end up seeing any rain today. But around the area, like we saw behind you at Cary Park and then here on our Garner Tower, a lot of the clouds are beginning to build and tower up a little bit. This is a look at Futurecast, and you can watch the cloud cover thickening up as we get past lunchtime and on into the afternoon. Brand new run of the computer models. This is the earliest that we've started to see some of the cells showing up on the computer model, but it's not much. much. Most of that between 2 and 5 o'clock is well to our west. And between 5 and 8 o'clock, I mean, it is minimal. I mean, tiny little cells pop up. Some of those tiny cells can produce some heavy rain, but we're just really not looking at a whole lot of rain. Now, Friday morning, we might see another wave that rolls through that brings us some rain during the morning commute. We're going to take a closer look at that coming up in just a bit. But again, like this afternoon, this evening, just a 30% chance on the latest runs of the computer models are really showing minimal amounts of rain. Behind us is the gardens. It's definitely warm out here, that's for sure. 88 degrees. Our dew point is 67. We like to see that dew point in the 60s, but it still feels pretty hot and sticky. Hey, this is a great place to go to beat the heat. The Gibson Play Plaza at Dix Park. They have this huge water feature. Head out over there, stand under the water, take the kids' bathing suits, and that's a great way to deal with highs in the low 90s. Temperatures for the holiday weekend will be back into the 80s, but that's because we have a much better chance of showers and thunderstorms. And I'll show you the timeline for the weekend coming up.
We continue to follow, as we have all morning long, the breaking news out of India. Recovery efforts continue after a plane that was headed to London crashed in India right after takeoff. This is a look at the smoke that was billowing into the sky from that crash. Here's what we know about it. The plane was carrying 242 people. Emergency crews have recovered over 200 of those bodies. The cause of the crash is still under investigation. Greg Palcott has information about the people who died.
A major tragedy in India on Thursday morning. A Boeing 787 with 230 passengers and 12 crew members on board crashed just after takeoff. It happened in the city of Ahmedabad. The plane reached a height of 600 feet, then seemed to slowly float back down into a residential area where it crashed. There was a huge fireball, and local officials on the ground now say it appears there are no survivors.
It's still an evolving situation. Rescue operations are on, so you'll have to wait a little more time for exact details to be put out.
Among the passengers, 53 British, 7 Portuguese, and 1 Canadian national. Those countries are now working to confirm the status of their citizens while the rescue and recovery operation ramps up. This is the first ever crash of a passenger Boeing 787. The pilot had significant experience and no record of any accidents, leading some experts to suggest the aircraft might have been overloaded.
The way that it's described as how it was flying leads me to ask the question about the aircraft's actual weight and its balance.
Meanwhile, Boeing says it's working closely with authorities in India to determine the cause of the crash.
It is tragic, but again, we have a CEO and an organization that is re-energized and recommitted to working with global aviation.
That was Greg Palcott reporting, and we sent you the push alert to your phones as soon as we learned about this crash. This is the one you got. Get the WRAL News app to be first to know when breaking news happens.
Raleigh police investigating a reported stabbing. It happened before 6:30 this morning at Somerset Place Apartments on Six Forks Road. One man was stabbed and a woman was arrested. The man was taken to the hospital. Anti-ICE protests continue popping up throughout the country. Here in Raleigh, hundreds of demonstrators took a stand against what they call an attack on immigrant communities. Jonathan Hunt explains that what's happening, this is all happening, as lawmakers clash on how to handle these demonstrators.
After nearly a week of protests, local and federal leaders say the situation in Los Angeles is now under control. The streets of LA have been relatively quiet for the past 2 nights after Mayor Karen Bass ordered an overnight curfew. Los Angeles police have arrested more than 300 demonstrators since Saturday, with more than a dozen now facing charges.
We expect more charges to be filed in the coming days and weeks. If you took part in these riots and were looking to cause trouble, we will come looking for you.
The 700 Marines ordered to LA by President Trump have not yet joined the 2,000 National Guard members, but President Trump is crediting the de-escalation to the military's presence, saying in part, Los Angeles was safe and sound for the last 2 nights, but without the military, Los Angeles would be a crime scene like we haven't seen in years. Mayor Bass says the curfews will go on as long as they are needed, but insists the Trump administration went too far.
When you start deploying federalized troops on the heels of these raids, It is a drastic and chaotic escalation and completely unnecessary.
Lawmakers across the country are now dealing with protests. Texas Governor Greg Abbott says the National Guard will be deployed to cities across his state. And there have been dozens of arrests in cities from coast to coast. In Chicago, 17 people arrested. In Denver, 18. And more than 80 in New York City.
That was Jonathan Hunt reporting.
Let's take a look at stocks this noon, and you see where the Dow Jones Industrial Average has had a rocky run throughout the morning there. Started well in negative territory, found its way into positive territory mid-morning. Right now, down 27 points. NASDAQ's up 22 this hour, and S&P 500 just marginally in positive territory. A new producer price index dropped today. The report comes a day after the release of the consumer price index. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey explains how this could all impact your wallet.
That economic report shows that the producer price index went up 0.1% from April to May. That means the prices that businesses pay to sell you products is going up, and that could lead to higher prices here at the grocery store. We also learned that inflation is going up earlier this week. Inflation went up 0.1% from April to May. That's less than what economists expected.
And this is where kind of digging into the details matters.
That's UNC economic professor Gerald Cohen. He says this small increase is likely a result of tariffs.
The view is that you're going to continue to ratchet up on pricing from tariffs.
5 on Your Side checked in with shoppers about how they're dealing with the uptick in prices.
Everything's so high, but I mean, a lot of it, what can you do? I never thought I'd pay $5 for a loaf of bread.
Cohen says tariffs can impact several industries here in North Carolina, like biotech, textiles, and agriculture. For more on how tariffs are impacting the prices you pay, head to our website, WRAL.com. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News in Cary.
The town of Morrisville has a new chief of police. Justin Rosser will now lead the department. He'll take over the role on June 23rd. Rosser has been a law enforcement officer for 21 years. He spent the last 17 years with the Apex Police Department. Rosser replaces former Chief Pete Acosta. He says he is excited to serve and build relationships with the Morrisville community.
Next at noon, sanctuary city governors head to Capitol Hill. The testimony on the effect of their policies on immigration enforcement.
Also, new Disney development, the Chatham County neighborhood plan that includes 4,000 homes.
Plus, insurance claims denied and your right to appeal. The steps to take before you have to pay out of pocket.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air Channel 34 and Spectrum Channel 1257.
Happening now in the WRAL Live Center, brand new video into our newsroom. That's the Air India plane that crashed earlier this morning. You can see exactly what's happening. And here's another thing that NBC News is reporting, that at least there is one survivor on that aircraft. Now, according to NBC News, the news network has cross-checked the flight manifest and confirmed that the name of the man and the seat number match what journalists are reporting in India. But here it is again. The plane had just taken off from the airport in Ahmedabad, and there you see it barely got up into the air, about 600 feet, and you can see it comes crashing down to the ground. Reports say that 240 souls were on board. Again, NBC News reporting, as well as other media outlets, that at least one survivor. Of course, we'll be following the story and bringing any new developments here in the WRAL Live Center.
That would be miraculous. Wow. All right. Thanks, Ken. Well, several governors are defending their immigration policies during a fiery congressional hearing as Republicans accuse them of aiding migrant crime. Rebecca Castro has more.
With anti-ICE protests spreading nationwide, the Democratic governors of New York, Illinois, and Minnesota are going head-to-head with Republicans over their state's immigration policies.
Let me be clear. Sanctuary policies do not protect Americans. They protect criminal, illegal aliens.
Illinois follows the law, but let me be clear. We expect the federal government to follow the law, too. We will not participate in abuses of power.
The contentious hearing comes as President Donald Trump and California Governor Gavin Newsom remain in a legal and political standoff over deploying the National Guard and Marines to calm immigration protests in Los Angeles. Newsom was not invited to Thursday's hearing, but Republicans did not hold back against these governors and potential 2028 presidential contenders.
We deserve a governor who stands up for law-abiding New Yorkers, doesn't put illegals first, but actually puts New Yorkers first. I appreciate
rather than going after the viral moment. I suggest you look at the facts.
I'm standing up for New Yorkers. No. Rather than addressing the illegals in New York, you are prioritizing your far-left sanctuary state policies, which you put in place with executive orders.
Democrats used the hearing as an opportunity to blast the Trump administration.
Trump isn't focused on getting violent criminals off our streets. He's terrorizing our communities to fulfill deportation quotas.
That was Rebecca Castro reporting.
We're getting our first look at the footprint of a new Disney development in Chatham County. Pittsboro town leaders unanimously approved the neighborhood map for the first phase of Asteria. It shows how developers will fit 494 homes, single-family, multifamily, and townhomes into 175 acres. There is also room for future mixed-use development. When it's complete, developers say Asteria will cover 1,500 acres and include 4,000 homes.
That's going to be pretty cool.
No report on any rides, though.
Yeah, no rides in the neighborhood.
It'll be fun, though.
Whatever neighborhood you're in today, drink the water. Be careful because it is warm out there. Meteorologist Elizabeth Garner out on the WRAL weather patio. It's a nice day. It's just warm, Elizabeth.
Yeah. Warm times 10. Yeah, it really is. It's really heating up out here. Now, the one thing about today is the dew point's down in the mid-60s, mid to upper 60s. As we get into the next couple of days, we're talking about the dew point climbing into the mid-70s. That's going to be a completely different feel. I mean, it's okay out here. I mean, it's hot for sure, but we're going to take that to another level starting tomorrow. This is a look at what's happening right now. We have high pressure that's just to our north, starting to fizzle out. That high pressure system has kept things pretty quiet in terms of rain. We don't have a cold front that is knocking on our doorstep just yet, but that does change over the weekend. If you missed Futurecast at the beginning of the newscast, notice how we start to see the clouds thickening up a little bit around 2 o'clock and a few cells start to pop up back to our west. Very little coverage for us really today. This is 7 o'clock in the evening around Rocky Mount or Goldsboro. Really nothing happening around the triangle. But notice that line that starts to develop back to the west coming up in a few minutes. I'm going to roll that all the way through. It does look like we could see some of those showers in the morning tomorrow. And I'll show you how that could affect our morning commute. In the gardens right now, it is warm and there is nobody out here. It's not so bad in the shade. I got some folks working hard in the gardens, that's for sure. It's already 88 degrees, but that dew point is 67. So in the shade, it makes it feel a little bit more tolerable. You notice I didn't say comfortable, just tolerable. We climbed to 91 for the high temperature this afternoon. It is 82 in Roxborough, 85 in Fayetteville, 87 in Rocky Mount. And a few more temperatures closer to the triangle. Apex, Cary at 87, 86 in Holly Springs, 84 in Garner. So, I mean, you know, that's not so bad. Highs will be in the low 90s this afternoon, and it'll really feel like low 90s because our dew point is in the mid to upper 60s. Now, that changes. Tomorrow, the dew point climbs to 73, then 74 on Saturday and Sunday. That's a lot of moisture in the atmosphere. So it's likely to feel like 97 on Saturday and maybe up to 100 on Sunday, even with high temperatures in the 80s. Now, it'll feel worse, you know, around the middle of the day if we see some sunshine, but some storms may pop up during the afternoon. As a matter of fact, we have the Capital City Juneteenth celebration at Dix Park on Saturday, and temperatures will be mostly in the mid to upper 80s. It starts at 2 and ends at about 6:30. Unfortunately, we have a decent chance for thunderstorms during that time period, especially the 4 to 6 p.m. time period. Download the WRAL weather app, and you can set it to let you know when rain or thunderstorms are coming toward you, and then you can get to a dry or safe place. Weekend outlook, those highs will be in the 80s, but again, 50% chance tomorrow, 60 on Saturday, and an 80% chance of rain on Sunday. It still looks like the best chance for staying dry over the weekend will be in the morning hours up until around lunchtime. Coming up in just a few minutes, we're going to walk through the timeline for the rain, especially Saturday and Sunday.
All right, Elizabeth, thank you for that. Drugs as therapy. Local advocates are pushing psychedelic drugs to help treat PTSD. Today on WRAL News at 4, how they hope this could help struggling veterans and why there could be an issue in it actually happening.
And recovering decades later, a small eastern North Carolina town battered by a series of storms is still working to get back on its feet. On WRAL News at 5, where a series of flood prevention projects stand and what work is still left to be done. Plus, still ahead this noon, AI takedown. 2 major Hollywood studios are suing an artificial intelligence company. Why Disney and Universal say the company needs to be put to a stop.
Plus, bringing in the dough, Walmart revealed its highest paying job, the position earning the biggest paycheck. That's just ahead.
5 on your side, always keeping an eye on today's business headlines. 2 Hollywood studios are suing an AI company. Disney and Universal filed a lawsuit against AI photo generation company Midjourney, alleging copyright violations. The movie company said Midjourney trained its AI models to generate images featuring their famous characters. Disney and Universal said Midjourney has ignored requests from block users from generating images with their intellectual property or to add tech that would prevent it. They're seeking up to $20 million in damages and an order that would stop Midjourney from generating those images in the future. We're getting a better idea of just how many people rely on artificial intelligence. A ChatGPT outage earlier this week prevented hundreds of thousands of users from accessing the popular chatbot for hours. There were also more than 500,000 Google searches about ChatGPT being down. OpenAI says the outage lasted more than 10 hours before coming back online, but didn't give a reason on what went wrong.
The North Carolina Community Foundation's Hurricane Relief Recovery Fund is $20,000 richer. Amazon made the donation to emergency management officials at its fulfillment center in Garner. The officials also got a tour of the facility's logistics operations and disaster relief capabilities.
Well, now you can have your cake and eat it too. At Walmart, the retail giant tells USA Today cake decorators are the highest paid hourly positions outside of managers, with an average pay of $19.25 an hour. Walmart says it decorates more than 150,000 cakes per week nationwide, and it sees a peak during graduation season, which we are in.
We're in that right now. Well, Live Nation is bringing more music venues to the U.S., including right here in Raleigh. The parent company of Ticketmaster says it's investing $1 billion to build 18 new music venues across the country. WRAL has reported on the new venue coming here. It includes a 4,300-seat ballroom coming to the new mixed-use district around the Lenovo Center. The venue will host concerts, comedy, community events, and more. They'll break ground on it at the end of the NC State 2025 football season.
45% of all homeowners have regrets about buying their current home, according to a survey from Bankrate. The most common complaint was the cost of maintenance and hidden fees in owning the property. A typical homeowner is spending more than $18,000 a year on non-mortgage related expenses, according to the survey. Those fees can be anything from property taxes to maintenance. A good home inspection will highlight potential repairs and maintenance issues, and Bankrate says prospective buyers should make sure they are considering all the costs associated with the house before buying it.
Coming up, breaking ground. Duke Health expanding in Cary. Next, the healthcare services it'll bring to the growing area.
Plus, going up. Raleigh water bills will soon be going up. When you can expect this change. And we have a look here at your winning NC Education lottery numbers on your screen. We'll be right back.
Shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your number one source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
Duke Health is expanding its healthcare services in Cary.
The hospital broke ground this morning on the next phase of the facility that includes a new 40-bed hospital. WRAL's Chris Levigood joins us with the expansion that is going to take place. Chris?
Well, Jeff and Michelle, this is an addition to the existing facility that opened back in July 2022. This was the groundbreaking on this new phase that happened just a couple of hours ago. In addition to the beds, there will be more operating rooms and equipment used to treat cancer patients. The CEO of Duke Health says this expansion is about meeting the growing need of cutting-edge healthcare in Wake County.
This project is just one of the ways we are taking the bold steps necessary to deliver the excellence and innovation of Duke Health to more patients in more communities with a focus on access, convenience, and experience.
And Duke Health hopes to have this next phase open by 2027. After that, Duke plans to break ground on a third building that will house a state-of-the-art hospital and cancer center. Now, the first building on the 85-acre campus opened in July 2022, as we mentioned. You can look for additional reporting on this expansion in our news starting at 4 o'clock and by going to WRAL.com. You can watch News Plus there.
Chris, thanks for that. Jet Zero is coming to North Carolina. The California-based jet maker has selected Greensboro, North Carolina, for its new facility. It'll hire more than 14,000 people by the year 2036. This morning, state and local leaders approved incentives worth more than $1.5 billion. It is the biggest ever job commitment in North Carolina. Governor Josh Stein is expected to make that formal announcement at 1 o'clock today, coming up in a half hour. Jet Zero will be the third aviation company to announce a facility at Piedmont Triad International Airport in the past 3 years. Last year, Boom Supersonic opened its jet building facility. They're creating jets capable of supersonic flight. Marshall Aerospace has also opened a new maintenance and engineering facility. The company works on the U.S. Marine Corps fleet. In 2007, the Honda Aircraft Company established its world headquarters at PTI. That is where it is producing the Honda Jet.
Changes to the state's concealed weapons law are on their way to the governor's desk. Lawmakers passed a bill repealing the need for a concealed carry permit for anyone 18 and older. Supporters say the bill doesn't change who can buy a gun. It simply does away with the need for government permission to carry it concealed. Critics, including some Republicans who did not vote for the bill, say the changes would endanger public safety. 29 states already allow some form of permitless carry. Governor Stein is expected to veto the bill. Chip maker Wolfspeed is laying off dozens of workers in Chatham County. The Durham-based company tells state officials it'll cut 73 manufacturing managers, technicians, engineers, and other employees at its factory in Siler City. The company says the cuts are expected to start in August. Wolfspeed has been working to cut costs as it manages debt and transitions manufacturing to higher-powered chips.
A man is accused of setting a car on fire after an argument with his girlfriend in Wake County. Byron Hammond Jr. is in jail without bond. A witness took this video of a car engulfed in flames near Zebulon. According to the arrest warrant, Hammond is accused of threatening his girlfriend and damaging her TV and cell phone. Neighbors say after that, they saw him dousing the car with gasoline and then setting it on fire.
Starting next month, your Raleigh water bill will be going up. Charges for water and wastewater will go up about 4%. That's an average monthly increase of about $2. The increase was approved in the 2026 fiscal year budget. Today marks 9 years since 49 people were gunned down in a Pulse nightclub in Orlando, Florida. Survivors and family members of the victims were allowed to walk through the long-shuttered LGBTQ+ friendly venue for the first time. Very few people other than investigators have been inside the structure until last night. No photos or video recordings were allowed during the very emotional visit.
It's very heartbreaking. To know that my son took his last breath right there within that small space, that so many kids died that night.
The city of Orlando purchased the property in 2023. It plans to build a $12 million permanent memorial, which will open in 2027.
Happening now in the WRAL Live Center, the retrial of disgraced mogul Harvey Weinstein ended abruptly today in a mistrial, and the judge did so because apparently the foreman and that jury refused to join the deliberations on the remaining rape charge against the disgraced movie mogul. Prosecutors are vowing, though, to retry Weinstein for that third charge where he's accused of sexually assaulting former actress Jessica Mann. We will continue to follow this story and have any new developments in our news starting at 4.
National Transportation Safety Board will hold 3 days of hearings next month into the mid-air collision of an American Airlines regional jet and an Army helicopter. 67 people died in that crash. The agency also announced it expects to complete its investigation by that tragedy's 1-year mark. The NTSB is reportedly making progress on the cause, but still needs some access to some of the Federal Aviation Administration's data. Denied health care coverage, don't give up. Only on WRAL News. 5 on your side's Keely Arthur walks you through appealing your insurer, how your doctor can help make your case, and what to do if the insurance company still says no.
Remember, you can always watch WRAL News live anytime on WRAL.com or the WRAL app on your streaming device.
Summer's right around the corner, so is that summer heat, if it's not here already. As the weather warms up, many people will be leaving the gym and taking their workouts outside. However, according to NOAA, above average temperatures across much of the country can be expected. Experts say before you hit the ground running, slowly transition from indoor workouts to outdoor workouts.
It has to be not just a day prior, but it has to be at least acclimation within a week. So that way you're able to prepare and to train and also just progress slowly, whether it's cool temperatures at first at night and then working your way up.
And once you have gotten used to the heat, you still need to be mindful about sun exposure. Try running in shaded areas and always stay hydrated.
Well, busy parents often put off going to the doctor, especially dads. And as we celebrate Father's Day, it's a good reminder to make sure they are keeping tabs on their health, along with seeing the doctor for any new symptoms. Cleveland Clinic urges men to keep up with those annual checkups. Doctors say heart disease is the leading cause of death for men, with cancer close behind. With this in mind, it is important to monitor blood pressure and cholesterol levels and not put off things like colon and prostate cancer screenings.
Sleeping next to your pets could affect your rest. Some sleep experts say sleeping in the same bed as your pets often leads to disturbed rest, as it can cause poor sleep quality and symptoms of insomnia. While sleeping with pets may not be the healthiest habit, sleep experts say some people may need their cat or dog in bed with them because it's part of their nightly routine. Health experts recommend trying to put your pet on the floor of your bedroom at night, right at the foot of the bed, or adjusting your sleep routine to match their pets.
Coming up, denied. It's what many people hear when filing a health insurance claim. The 4 steps you can take to have your appeal approved.
Plus, child safety. Apple is rolling out new parental controls, when that update is expected to launch and how it could protect your kids.
Nearly 1 in 5 in-network health insurance claims from plans sold on healthcare.gov were denied. If your health insurance denies a test, treatment, or medication your doctor says you need, don't rush to pay out of pocket. You have a guaranteed right to appeal that decision. The good news is, as 5 on your side's Keely Arthur reports, it's easier than you might think.
This is always difficult when this happens. So first, we want you to call the insurance company. Ask to speak directly to the reviewer who made the decision and get a clear explanation for why your claim was denied. Then we want you to file a formal appeal stating you disagree with the decision. As part of your appeal, ask for your doctor to write a letter that explains the necessity of the procedure and include as many supporting documents as possible, like medical records and treatment studies and any communication with the insurance company. The next step might be the hardest, waiting. It could take 30 days or longer for an answer. If you need treatment right away, make sure your request is an expedited review.
So if you get a letter that the insurer is still denying the claim, know that both Medicare and private insurance companies are required by law to provide the reason in writing, as well as explain how to appeal the decision with an independent third party.
5 on Your Side hears from many viewers about denied health insurance claims, and we try to help when we can. Tonight on WRAL News at 6, I'll tell you about Pete Kenny, a man who contacted 5 on Your Side after his knee replacement, which his doctor said he needed, was denied. I'll explain how we helped get him that surgery. Keely Arthur, 5 on Your Side.
Apple plans to update its parental controls. The company says it is rolling out new safety features, which include requiring kids to get their parents' permission to message a new phone number. Parents will receive an alert on their message app asking them to approve or deny the request. Apple also plans to allow parents to share their children's general age range with apps to give them access to age-appropriate apps. New features are all set to roll out this fall.
One of the world's most active volcanoes has erupted for the 25th time since December. Hawaii's Kilauea volcano began erupting yesterday with lava fountains reaching over 330 feet. Experts at the Hawaii Volcano Observatory predict the lava will likely go even higher before subsiding. Majority of the eruptive episodes have lasted about a day or less, but quite a show that volcano has been putting on 25 times.
One going off in Italy. What is happening in the world right now?
I don't know. It's crazy.
Well, we know it's hot out there. Elizabeth Gardner out on the WRAL severe weather patio right now, like she's standing in molten lava there.
Yes, that's exactly what it's like. Do y'all feel sorry for me yet?
Not yet.
Actually, it's not like that at all. We just had a cloud come over, and it makes a world of difference. If you'll notice, Chris Michaels did a story a little while ago about the dew point and the humidity. And we always tell everybody, look at the dew point. Our dew point is down in the mid 60s right now, and that makes a world of difference. By tomorrow and the weekend, it's going to be in the mid 70s. So even in the shade, it's going to feel miserable. But if the dew point is in the 60s, even if it's hot outside, if you can find yourself a shady spot like I'm in right now, it's okay. It's actually tolerable. Not a whole lot going on right now. We take a look at satellite and radar. Nothing's starting to pop up across our viewing area or really in any part of the state yet. So again, it's likely to be a bit later. We check out Futurecast. We do see more clouds building through the afternoon. At around 3 or 4 o'clock, well to our west, we end up with a few isolated showers or thunderstorms. There's a lot of moisture in the atmosphere. If you happen to find yourself under a storm, it is likely to dump heavy rain, but probably just briefly. I mean, look at this, 8 o'clock, there's just not much going on. And then that's really true through 10 or 11 as well. Now, I promised I was going to show you what happened by the time we get to tomorrow morning. So we're going to check that out as well. First of all, let's talk about this afternoon. I love it. The Durham Bulls, it's summer camp. Those kids are hot. But my son got to do the summer camp there, the Durham Bulls summer camp. Totally fun. Fayetteville's cloudy, Apex, Chapel Hill, partly cloudy, and yep, it's warm out there. Bulls game this evening. You can find yourself on the shady side of the stadium, and with these low dew points, you'll be fine. Game time temperatures will be in the upper 80s, and again, our potential for rain this evening in Durham, pretty minimal. So let's talk about tomorrow morning. Next weather maker is a big surge of moisture that comes in, and then eventually a front, and that bumps up our chance for rain, especially Sunday. But Futurecast is showing that line to our west making its way here for tomorrow morning. It does fizzle out pretty quickly, but there could be a little light rain, a few sprinkles during the morning tomorrow. And then by lunchtime, it just all erupts again. Look at this. Some pretty good coverage here at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It's not going to rain all day. We're just going to see waves of showers and thunderstorms. That's 10 p.m. on Friday. Saturday morning, again, a little bit of that lingers in the morning. That's 6:30 in the morning. And then we get a nice break through the middle of the day. And then after 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, we see those thunderstorms popping up. So it may be that we see a bit more coverage on Friday than Saturday. Right now we're going 50% chance Friday, 60% chance Saturday, and then an 80% chance on Sunday for Father's Day. And, decent amount of rain, too. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all together, we could see anywhere from an inch to as much as 2.5 inches. And that means by Sunday and Monday, we may have a small chance for flooding. So we'll be watching out for that. Don't forget, even with the clouds and some rain, still going to feel like between 95 and 100 for the Father's Day weekend. Sunday, right now, I would write it off for outdoor plans, but Saturday, you should be okay. We may see an early shower and then after 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So you should have a window of opportunity on Saturday where you can get outside. This is the perfect time to download the WRAL app. You can set it to let you know when rain is moving into your area.
Thank you, Elizabeth. This is a not so hot pursuit. Police in South Carolina chase a piece of large machinery right there down the street.
Okay.
Next up, what officers say started this slow pursuit.
Yeah, quite slow. Well, and as we head to break, here's a look at Wednesday's winning Powerball numbers. Your numbers are 13, 25, 29, 37, and 53. The Powerball is 3. The Power Play is 2.
We wrap things up right now with a look at a few of the headlines we're following for you today. We begin with this historic announcement as Jet Zero has picked North Carolina for almost a $5 billion factory. The facility will be built in Greensboro and could bring more than 14,000 jobs to the state. Details of the plans were unveiled today when officials approved major incentives for the project. State and local leaders will make a formal announcement this afternoon. This will be one of the largest job commitments to North Carolina ever. Duke Health is expanding its medical campus in Cary. This morning, the hospital broke ground on the next phase of the facility that includes a new 40-bed hospital. In addition to the beds, there'll be more operating rooms and equipment used to treat cancer patients. Duke hopes to have the next phase open by 2027.
I-85 is back open after a large truck crashed, spilling its load of logs across the interstate. Sky 5 flew over the scene near the Durham-Granville County line. The logs blocked several lanes, backing up traffic for miles. The truck appears to have flipped on its side in the median. Other cars were also involved in this, including one that flipped over. It is unclear what caused the crash or if anyone was hurt.
The South Carolina Police Department is sharing dash cam video of an unusual pursuit. Yeah, get him. North Charleston police were in a hot pursuit of this low-speed chase here with that backhoe. Early Sunday morning this happened. The vehicle was going 3 miles per hour. Top speed. Police cruisers chased the excavator after officers say it damaged a building. The extremely slow pursuit lasted for a little over an hour until that piece of large machinery got stuck. The driver was arrested and is still in jail on a $22,000 bond.
Officers couldn't jump out and run after him and just jump on there. Oh my gosh. Well, an EMS crew in Tennessee caught a fish without ever leaving their ambulance.
Something flew up and hit the truck. Oh my God, it's moving while we were driving.
Oh my gosh, it's moving. The Anderson EMS crew were on their way back from a call when they heard a loud thud. They pulled over to find out what happened. That's when they found a fish still alive on the roof on the cab of the ambulance. The crew put the fish in water to take it back to a nearby river. How does that even happen?
I don't know, but if you're going to fall anywhere, fall in an ambulance.
On an ambulance, I know.
Get fixed up. It was a fun night for cat owners at Durham Bulls Athletic Park. The Bulls hosted a Bring Your Cat to the Ballpark night called Whisker Wednesday. And you can see lots of those cute furry friends there in attendance. Even Sir Purr, jealous enough to come over from the Carolina Panthers, and Rory from the NC Courage, both there. Proceeds from the game go toward second chance pet adoptions. Herding the cats.
And speaking of pets, our pet of the day comes to us from the SPCA of Wake County. This is Scooby. He is 14 years old. He's a neutered short hair cat. Scooby has been described as a low energy boy who would prefer to spend his days taking naps on the couch. He's sweet, cuddly, loving, docile. To learn more about Scooby, contact the SPCA of Wake County.
Truly get Scooby snacks.
Scooby snacks. NBC News Daily is next on WRAL, your next local news update in 30 minutes.
Have a good day.
Keep Keep watching WRAL News over the air channel 34 and Spectrum channel 1257.